Imagine a secret handshake happening billions of times a day, often invisible, that literally keeps our digital world from collapsing.
Yeah.
Who are the unsung heroes orchestrating this symphony of stealth? And how do they ensure your most sensitive data stays yours, even when it's flying across continents at light speed?
Well, today we're embarking on a really crucial deep dive into advanced cryptography. And this isn't just, abstract theory. It's the foundational hands-on knowledge, especially for those of you in BCIS 4345 and aspiring cybersecurity professionals. Our mission today is to explore digital certificates, secure communication protocols like TLS and IPSec, and the intricate mechanics of block cipher modes of operation.
Okay.
Yeah, think of this deep dive as your shortcut to understanding that continuous process analysis, implementation, evaluation, maintenance that secures modern electronic data systems. We're really all about giving you the tools and insights to become an applied security professional, which is a core focus, of the Dr. Sam Pack College of Business at Tarleton State University.
Absolutely. And before we pull back the curtain on all these incredible insights, do us a quick favor, okay? Just take a moment to like this deep dive, subscribe to the deep dive, and maybe share it with anyone who needs these insider tips that could protect their data, maybe even supercharge their careers. You really want to miss a single beat of the fascinating journey we're about to take. All right, so to kick things off, let's explore the very foundation of digital trust. Digital certificates. Think of these as your, essential digital identity cards online.
Mm-hmm.
When you browse the web, send an email, or do a financial transaction, these certificates are silently working to verify who you are, or maybe that the website you're visiting is actually legit. So basically, a digital certificate is an electronic document. It's issued by a trusted third party. We call that a certificate authority, or CA. And this document cryptographically binds an entity's identity. Could be you, a server, a device to a public key. It's kind of like carrying a digital passport in the online world, proving you are who you claim to be.
Yeah, and that digital passport analogy is perfect, actually, because these individual certificates, they operate within a much larger, highly organized system we call public key infrastructure, or PKI. And PKI is, well, it's far more than just the certificates themselves. It's a whole framework of processes and technologies designed to manage the entire life cycle of digital certificates and cryptographic keys.
Okay, the whole life cycle.
Exactly. A key insight here is the chain of trust. It all starts with the self-signed root certificate. That acts as the ultimate foundational authority. This root then cryptographically signs intermediate certificates, and those, in turn, sign the entity certificates that we as users typically interact with every day.
Right, so it's like a hierarchy.
Precisely. It creates this unbroken chain of cryptographic trust. But, what's often understated is the huge responsibility and, frankly, the constant vigilance required at each link. Just think, a single compromise of an intermediate CA, for instance, that could lead to fraudulent certificates being issued for major websites.
Wow.
And that effectively undermines trust across the entire internet. It really highlights how robust security isn't just about strong math. It's about meticulous operational control, too. And if you look around us, right here in the DFW Metroplex, major employers in finance, aerospace, tech companies like AT&T, American Airlines, Wells Fargo, Lockheed Martin, they critically rely on PKI every single day. They need it for securing sensitive financial data, national security info, and, maybe most importantly, maintaining customer trust. Without this robust system, the digital economy, it would just grind to a halt.
That really does highlight the constant vigilance needed. Wow. But digital certificates aren't one size fits all, right? They come in different types.
That's right.
Yeah, each with practical applications. So, for instance, SSL TLS server certificates, those are what make secure website transactions possible, like when you see HTTPS.
Exactly, the padlock.
Yeah, the padlock. Then there are code signing certificates. Software developers use those to cryptographically verify their software's authenticity. Make sure it hasn't been tampered with. Personal certificates can secure your email, proving where it came from and encrypting it. We also have wildcard certificates, super handy for securing a main domain and all its first-level subdomains, like, .example.com, with just one certificate.
Saves a lot of hassle.
Totally. And for more complex needs, there are subject alternative name, or SAN, certificates. They can secure multiple host names or even IP addresses. So their primary uses really boil down to proving identity, authenticating digital documents, and establishing secure connections, all critical for data integrity and preventing unauthorized access. Okay, so we've established how digital certificates verify who you are and what you're connecting to. That's the foundation of trust online. But what happens once that verified identity needs to actually communicate? How do we ensure that data as it travels across these vast, untrusted networks stays just as secure? This leads us to a crucial development: transport layer security, or TLS. Now, for a long time, people mistakenly used the term SSL, right?
Oh yeah, all the time. Still do sometimes.
But TLS is its modern, upgraded successor. And to be clear, TLS was explicitly designed to fix security vulnerabilities found in those older SSL protocols. Like, for example, SSL used the MD5 algorithm for message authentication codes, and MACIs, which are basically cryptographic fingerprints to verify a message hasn't been messed with and came from a trusted source.
Right, and MD5 is, well, it's broken now.
Exactly. TLS, on the other hand, moved to more robust hash-based message authentication code, or HMAC. That incorporates a secret key into the fingerprint process, making it way more secure. So if SSL was like an old, easily picked lock on your digital front door, TLS is the high-security, tamper-resistant system that replaced it.
And it's constantly being improved, yeah.
Constantly. It has to be, to stay ahead of new threats. And a key insight here is the core mechanism of TLS, the TLS handshake. It's this precise, multi-step dance between a client and a server to set up a secure, encrypted channel.
Okay, a dance. How does it work?
So it begins with the client sending a client hello message. That basically announces its cryptographic capabilities, like, here's what I can do. The server then responds with a server hello and its digital certificate. Then a critical key exchange happens. Both sides compute a master secret, using things like a pre-master secret and random numbers.
Yeah.
Finally, change cipher spec and finished messages confirm that the secure encrypted channel is ready for data transfer. But the real power of this handshake, something really important, also comes from perfect forward secrecy.
Perfect forward secrecy. What's that?
It ensures that even if a server's private key gets compromised later on, maybe next year, past encrypted communications remain secure. Because ephemeral single-use keys generated just for that session and then thrown away were used for each session.
Okay. So compromising the long-term key doesn't compromise past sessions.
Exactly. It's a vital layer of protection in this continuous security process we keep talking about. And, bringing this into a real-world context, a big challenge in continuous improvement is balancing that security with backward compatibility. Deprecating older, vulnerable TLS versions is essential, right? But you've got this long tail of legacy infrastructure out there that might not support the newer protocols. It's a constant tension network admins deal with daily.
That makes sense. A huge advancement for protecting communications at the application layer. But while TLS focuses on the transport layer, we also need security lower down, right? At the IP layer.
Absolutely.
That's where IP security, or IPSec, comes in. So IPSec is a suite of protocols designed specifically to provide secure communication over entire IP networks. You'll most commonly find it securing virtual private networks, VPNs.
Right. Very common in VPNs.
Yeah. And IPSec operates with two main components working together. There's the authentication header, or AH. That provides data integrity and authentication, making sure data hasn't been tampered with and comes from a trusted source.
Right.
And then there's the encapsulating security payload, or ESP. That offers not just encryption for confidentiality, but also integrity protection.
So this raises an important question. Where do these protocols actually come into play in our daily digital lives? And why does this constant vigilance really matter? Well, they're everywhere. Securing your web browsing with HTTPS, like we said, encrypting your remote access with SSH, protecting your email with SIML, even ensuring privacy in real-time communication via SRTP.
Okay, so pretty much all our secure online activity relies on these.
Pretty much. But what's crucial to remember, especially for you aspiring cybersecurity professionals, is that network and system security is a continuous dynamic process. It never stops. Historically, we've seen vulnerabilities like Heartbleed. That was a critical flaw, not in the encryption algorithms themselves, interestingly, but in how servers handled memory around the encryption. It allowed attackers to steal sensitive data, even private keys.
Ouch. Yeah, I remember Heartbleed.
Exactly. These aren't just scary names. They serve as critical lessons. They remind us that constant evaluation, adaptation, and maintenance of best practices are absolutely essential. It's a dynamic field where vigilance is, well, it's the ultimate defense. And understanding these past attacks helps us build more resilient systems for the future.
All right, let's dive even deeper then into the art of encryption itself. Specifically, let's look at block cipher modes of operation. So at its core, a block cipher is an encryption algorithm that processes data in fixed size blocks, right? Usually like 128 bits.
Typically, yeah. AES uses 128-bit blocks, for example.
Okay, but how do you encrypt a whole file or a huge data stream if you're only processing data in these small chunks? That's where modes of operation come in. They define how to encrypt larger amounts of data securely and efficiently. They make sure that even if you're using the same key, repeated plaintext doesn't lead to predictable ciphertext. Let's compare two foundational modes: electronic codebook, ECB, and cipher block chaining, CBC. ECB is simple. It's fast because it encrypts each block independently. The problem,
Big problem.
if you have identical plaintext blocks, they'll produce identical ciphertext blocks. That reveals patterns, makes it vulnerable to cryptanalysis. There's that famous example, right? An image of a penguin encrypted with ECB looked almost identical to the original.
The Tux penguin. It showed the silhouette perfectly. A classic example of why ECB is bad for most things.
A stark reminder that simple encryption isn't always secure encryption. Now, CBC is far more secure. It chains the blocks. It XORs the previous ciphertext block with the current plaintext block before encryption.
Right, that dependency is key.
Yeah, it effectively hides patterns, makes it much more resistant to cryptanalysis. Each block's encryption depends on the one before it. So the output is unique, even if the plaintext repeats. And there are other advanced modes too, like cipher feedback mode, CFB, output feedback mode, OFB, counter mode, CTR, each with specific advantages for handling different data stream sizes, resisting errors, or allowing parallel encryption.
CTR is popular for performance because you can encrypt blocks in parallel.
Right. And these block ciphers are used everywhere. Sensitive data encryption like passwords, credit cards, file and disk encryption like BitLocker, in VPNs, and right inside SSL/TLS protocols.
Yeah, absolutely. But the truly intriguing aspect, and often, let's be honest, the weakest link in any cryptographic system.
Right.
It isn't necessarily the strength of the math, the algorithms themselves. It's effective key management and the proper use of initialization vectors, or IVs.
Okay, IVs. What exactly are those?
An initialization vector, or HIV, is a non-secret value. It can be random or just unique, and it's combined with the secret key at the start of the encryption process. Its main purpose is to ensure that if you encrypt the same plaintext multiple times, you get completely different ciphertext each time. This prevents patterns from emerging and significantly boosts security.
So it adds randomness even if the plaintext is the same.
Exactly. And the critical rule, IVs must always be unique and unpredictable. You should never reuse an IV with the same key. That's a fundamental mistake. This brings up a really important question. How do we manage all these keys and certificates effectively? Because, human error, poor processes, lack of visibility, these things can render even the strongest encryption useless if the keys are compromised or lost.
Right. The best lock doesn't help if you leave the key under the mat.
Precisely. Effective key management is absolutely critical for maintaining data security and privacy. This involves things like secure key storage. Often you use specialized hardware security modules, or HSMs. HSMs are dedicated, tamper-resistant physical devices. They're designed to securely generate, store, and manage cryptographic keys, protecting them from even really sophisticated attacks.
Okay, specialized hardware.
Yeah. It also involves careful key usage, who can access them, how they're used, and robust key handling procedures throughout their entire life cycle, from creation to destruction. I've personally seen the fallout from a major organization's failure in key management. A critical certificate expired, and it brought down a significant portion of their online services for hours.
Wow. Just from an expired certificate.
Sounds simple, right? But the real-world impact is immense. It really underscores why these best practices aren't just theory. So when it comes to PKI management, best practices include maintaining clear visibility of all your certificates and keys, knowing what you have, defining clear roles and responsibilities for managing them, establishing and enforcing strong PKI management policies, and critically utilizing centralized management, monitoring, and reporting tools. These tools automate tasks, reduce human error, and help you avoid those costly certificate expirations that can bring entire systems down.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. You've now gained, hopefully, a deep understanding of advanced cryptography, from certificates to communication protocols to how encryption actually works. But what does this all mean for your career as you step into the world of network and systems security? Here's where it gets really impactful for students. The DFW Metroplex isn't just growing, it's a robust, expanding hub for technology and cybersecurity. We're talking significant projected growth, like 32% by 2032.
It's a hot market.
It really is. This means the BCIS 4345 curriculum and the cybersecurity certificate option at Tarleton State University's Dr. Sampak College of Business are directly aligning you with high-demand industry needs. Whether your interest is in finance, aerospace, defense, IT services, technology, the skills you're gaining are exactly what employers like AT&T, American Airlines, Wells Fargo, Lockheed Martin are actively looking for. But, it's not just about the technical skills anymore, is it?
No, definitely not.
Employers are increasingly looking for individuals who aren't just proficient, but also have critical thinking skills, an ethical approach to security, and, crucially, a commitment to continuous learning in a field that just never stands still. You're being trained as an applied security professional, ready to hit the ground running.
And the career path available is, frankly, quite motivating. Entry-level roles like cybersecurity analyst or information security analyst, they command competitive average salaries right here in DFW. We're talking maybe $95,000 to $100,000 annually to start.
It's a strong start.
It is, and these positions are foundational steps. For a broader perspective, these roles are just the beginning. Graduates can progress to higher-level positions, cybersecurity engineer, security architect, and the earning potential there increases significantly, often exceeding, say, $135,000 to $150,000, or even more depending on experience and specialization. This progression really highlights the value of continuous learning and growth.
So certifications must play a big role, too.
Oh, absolutely vital. To truly accelerate your career, industry-recognized credentials are key. The CompTIA Security Plus certification. That's a crucial stepping stone into the field. It validates that foundational knowledge. Then, as you advance, pursuing certifications like the Certified Information Systems Security Professional, or CISSP, becomes essential for moving into leadership and architect roles. The skills you're learning right now, implementing and configuring security measures, conducting assessments, managing operations, monitoring and responding to incidents, they're directly transferable. They prepare you to be precisely the applied security professional the DFW job market is looking for.
And just like that, we've taken quite a deep dive, haven't we? Peeling back the layers of advanced cryptography. We started by understanding how digital certificates verify our online identities, build that chain of trust. Then we explored how robust protocols like TLS and IPSec create secure tunnels for our data. And finally, we demystified how the intricate art of block cipher modes underpins that continuous process of securing information, messaging, database integrity.
Yeah, and to tie back to our opening question, that secret handshake, it's really these sophisticated cryptographic systems and the unsung heroes. They are the skilled professionals like you who master them. By understanding these concepts, you're empowered to be part of the solution, protecting our ever-evolving digital world.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information. Help others stay informed and grow their expertise too. And now a final prompt for you to reflect on. Given the constant evolution of cyber threats, how will you continuously adapt and apply these foundational cryptographic principles to protect the digital assets of tomorrow? Stay connected, stay secure. Until next time, keep your network strong, your data protected, and your curiosity alive.